Um, but we're gonna move into topics here. We're gonna move into the first topic here because I wanna ramble about some of these things instead. So the new Sonic trailer was released, and we got to see finally the changes to the character. Some Come Johnny in the hunt with a Twitch Prime sub. No, not Twitch Prime, regular sub. Oh my god, regular sub. Thank you so much. Welcome. About to announce the date for Donkey Kong Live Returns. Hope your night's been swell. Hey, that's it. It's going. Yeah, good. Thank you for announcing. John, while you're here, may I tell everybody here what the date is? If that's okay. It gotta change fast. So yeah, let's see if John's okay with me announcing the date in stream here. Go right ahead. All right, then surprise announcement. Hold on. I have buttons for surprise announcement. Oh, we're gonna dial in an announcement, everybody. All right, here we go. Hold on. Here comes the announcement. You just gotta wait for it to connect. The charity stream, which is the Donkey Konga line, has been rescheduled for next Saturday, so November 23rd into the 24th. That is going to be starting at 12 noon and will continue to 12 noon the next day. It'll actually be 24 hours because whenever they do it on the date that the time changes is actually 25 hours. So this is actually going to be a 24-hour stream. But it has been rescheduled, so it's going to be next weekend, starting Saturday, 12 noon. So, you know, be there, be ready to donate, be ready to give. You know, unfortunately, everybody knows what happened last time, which was the website was attacked and no one was able to donate. So I think the biggest worry is that if people will not be in a position to donate. You know, it's a big event. When Extra Life does this at a specific time and everybody's doing it, it's a big event. People are ready to donate. And then if it goes south and then it has to be rescheduled, the hype might be gone. There's always the fear that the hype is gone, or people have spent the money, you know, so they're not going to be able to donate. So over the next week, you know, please be ready for Saturday, so you can stop in and you can donate, and hopefully we'll have them Donkey Kong arcade machine set up so I can dominate people. I don't know if I'm going to be playing something or not. If I am, I'm going to be playing it very poorly. So be there to donate, to motivate me, or to yell at me. Either way, just be ready to help out. Children's Hospital, I believe, is the charity. So be ready to help them out. Hopefully, you know, get a lot of support there. And remember, it's the weekend before Thanksgiving, so think about the people who don't get to just sit at home and have their Thanksgiving dinner. You know, there's a lot of kids out there that need help. They're in hospitals and they're stuck, and they don't get to have that home for Thanksgiving experience the same way the rest of us do. That's right, I'm guilting you. Will there be bananas? I don't know if there will be bananas, but I know it will be bananas. At least I get paid next week. See, that's good. Awesome. I have a question about donations. There'll be a whole thing set up there for how to donate. There'll be literally a button that you click and it takes you to the website to donate. Looks like Aniplex is price gouging. Oh, okay. But I'm gonna switch back over. So next Saturday, be ready. But yes, Sonic. They finally debuted a new trailer with the new design for the character, and holy smokes. Elements, thank you so much for the invitation to the host club. Holy smokes. The internet has successfully bullied a movie company into doing what they wanted to do. It's so weird. It's so weird that that the internet won for a change. I mean, they win all the time, really, but so we got a brand new design, much more in line with the Sonic the Hedgehog that we're used to, but at the same time different enough to be obviously their version, you know, because that was the one big thing. One of the things that a lot of people brought up was it was the car insurance commercial. I think was it for Geico, where they had a CG Sonic the Hedgehog there, and a lot of people were talking about that version, but that version clearly looks exactly like Sega's version of the character. Movie studios, they're always going to want to put progressive, thank you. Movie studios are always going to want to put their own spin on these characters so that they're more easily identifiable as their version of the character, which is probably what happened to the Sonic with teeth there. So I apologize for having to put that picture up. The problem is they went too far. They went way too far. So what we got now is a version of Sonic that looks a lot more like the one we're used to, but is very clearly identifiable. He doesn't have the mono eye, which I'm happy about, because a lot of people were talking about the mono eye, and I'm like, that's, from a design character, it looks creepy. You know, for 2D animation, it looks fine, but for 3D animation, integrated with real life, it would look kind of creepy. Now people are going to bitch about. You know what's funny, Trios? When I first saw it, I was very happy with the design. I also honestly expected people to find something else to complain about. I have yet to hear anybody seriously complain about him. I haven't heard a single person throw out a legitimate argument as to what they didn't like about him. I just mentioned the mono eye thing. I haven't heard anybody complain about that. I kind of figured that would be the first thing that people say. Well, they're gonna be mad because his eyes are still separated. They're gonna find something to be pissed off about. I haven't heard anybody complain about it. Why are his arms blue? Why would Sega invest so much money in marketing if they're just going to redo? Lizard, a lot of movie studios, the problem is when it comes to stuff like that, everybody wants a little piece of it to call their own. No one's going to want to fund a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. No one's going to license that character from Sega if they don't get to make a version of it that is clearly theirs. No one wants to make the character to be specifically like them. Look at the Mario movie coming out by Illumination. I guarantee you they're going to do something to that character to make it so that it's clearly the Illumination movie version. They're not going to just take the character models right from Mario Odyssey and make a movie, because then they don't get the recognition as a character creator for that. That's always going to be the case. I don't think that there is anything that's not like that. You know, if anybody who goes and gets a book deal, you know, they have a book that they've written and they go and they find a studio or a publisher to publish their book. The book publisher is always going to have notes, things that they want them to change to move it a little more in line with what they do. They're going to want to have input on the cover, you know, and they have every right to. If they're putting money into it, they deserve to put their stamp onto it. It's no different than brand recognition in movies. You know, if Pepsi pays $100,000 to have their products showcased in a movie, they deserve to have their products put into a place where you can clearly see that it's Pepsi. You know, a lot of companies will have someone on hand, like a brand recognition specialist or something, and that's their job, is to make sure that the brand that they are working for is represented in whatever the medium is, whatever the media is. So it's understandable, you know, that's just always going to be the case. People are so cut on. Let me go back and think everyone will wait until the movie is released to start complaining. Rami, when is the last time people waited till the movie was released to start complaining? Because they only gave them money and left it to the investors to deal with everything else. There are already people complaining about Sonic having green with the gumball eyes. Sonic. Yeah, see, I haven't heard any legitimate complaints. People are caught up in how much better the new design is. I don't think anyone wants to complain right now. That being said, I'm glad the studio, yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that the studio realized if we don't fix this, they're not going to go and see it, you know? And again, I need to preface all of this conversation. I want to preface this by saying this is not assuming my conspiracy theory, which is that the Teeth Sonic and the trailer that was made for it was a complete fabrication for publicity. I argued before that I think it was a publicity stunt. I think they made a bad Sonic on purpose. I think they made a trailer to go with it, specifically because they knew everybody was going to talk about their movie, and then 6 months later, they were going to show the actual design, market it as the new design that you all picked, and then it was going to get a positive reception, and now everybody was going to want to go see it. I still hold that. I think that was a strong possibility. But we're going to assume that that's not true, and we're going to say they legitimately thought the first Teeth Sonic was a good idea, which is just a horrible, horrible thing to think that somebody thought that was a good idea. I'm sorry, original creators. I bet you had your hands tied by studio that made you make it look like that. But realistically, that was horrible. Yeah, but merchandise was made for... Okay, Bert, some people have said that before, and I need to look that up. What merchandise was made for it? I don't remember there being merchandise for Teeth Sonic. I remember there being posters and advertisement media, but I don't remember plush toys and cups with his face on it. Like, I don't remember any of that. Yeah, that's the only thing. Well, and here's the thing. Cups and masks. Well, the masks we're gonna sell just because they're horrible. Raw merch was made for it. Actually, oh my god, there were. See, I didn't see any. Hold on. Let's see if there's a Teeth Sonic merch. I'm literally gonna search Teeth Sonic merch and see what comes up. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything other than funny merch like t-shirts. Okay, movie, okay, let's not call it Teeth Sonic. Let's call it Movie Sonic merch. Movie Sonic merch. I'm not seeing any products here for that version of Sonic. I'm seeing what looks like a mask, and that's it. I'm not seeing figures. I'm not seeing cups. I'm not seeing anything. Apparently some keychains and costumes. Keychains are tricky because you have to find out where the keychains came from, because there's going to be off-brand companies that make that stuff. They do it all the time. Okay, so here we go. Sonic the Hedgehog movie merchandise prototypes. They're just prototypes. None of this went into production. They're just prototype stuff. I still hold that it was all a conspiracy theory. Yeah, Jeffersonia, you don't make a bunch of merch and advertising for a purpose. Yes, you do. Okay, so here's why you do it. Here's why you do it. Because the purpose of a trailer is to get the word out about your movie. Making a bad trailer and getting everybody talking about their movie is still effective. It still did what they were going to do. But again, this is all just This is all just speculation. We don't actually know any of this happened. All I ever saw were posters and standees. In the grand scheme of advertising, that's cheap. According, advertising costs millions of dollars. Making posters does not cost millions of dollars. I feel they did make the current design, but higher up said no for. That's another theory. They pumped money and saw the backlash, quickly turned it on his head as a promo chance to listen. Yeah, that's Lilac, that's been another theory, was that this is more in line with what they wanted to do. The studio made them change it to Teeth Sonic when they realized Teeth Sonic was horrible. They used it as a marketing ploy to say, oh, well, we'll go back to the original design, but we'll call it the new design. There has been some serious thought about that. In FTCR's discussion, what is the evidence, Jefferson? Because I think I remember that discussion. Just quick roundup of the evidence of that being a theory, but that's not even really the point. Yeah, there's always bad Sonic costumes for. Yeah, you're right. Bad Sonic costumes are just bad Sonic costumes. But yeah, so this version of Sonic is fantastic. It is like I said, it's very recognizable. It's very interesting. It is a little annoying without pushing it too far, which to me is very Sonic. Sonic has been a 90s character, and that's another thing that people were saying, like, oh, he's kind of annoying, like a 90s character. Yeah, because he's a 90s character, so he's exactly what he's supposed to be. But they worked them very well. I think another big thing is that the trailer itself, because up until now, most people have been talking about the character design, and some people have been talking about the trailer itself. The trailer itself presented the movie a lot better. It sells it as a buddy picture, as a buddy road trip picture, which is, it's sort of a tired premise, but at the same time, what isn't a tired premise at this point? This just is, everything's been done, so it's hard to look at it and say, another one of those, because really any movie that comes out, you would say, oh, another one of those, especially if you break it down to its most simple components. The trailer itself looks better, but it's going to be road chip. I never saw Sonic's personality as being dated. Or you could potentially see any character with a similar personality in a story. Yeah, Aqua, if you made a brand new character right now and he was the obnoxious in your face animal anthropomorphic mascot, you would think, wow, that's kind of annoying. That's like a 90s character. It's so in your face. It's Poochie. You know what I mean? But this is a character that's actually from that era. So it makes sense that it's like that. Greg, I got a bail. I'm not doing too good today. I'll see you Monday. I'll see you Monday, Lizard. Try to feel better and have a good one. Try to have a good weekend. Tyson Hess didn't work on the movie until the redesign was needed. Oh, okay. He debunked that theory himself. Okay, so I mean, there you go. That's a good piece of solid evidence. I would like to read the statement where he says that, but that's a good piece of solid evidence to say that the theory is not completely there, which honestly though still owns to the other theory, which is they kind of turn it into a marketing ploy, but that's fine. Can we talk about how the delay not only gave the animators the time they need, but also another effect on the movie that the company had to be okay with? Just think about what big movie studios would give a year-end time slot. Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. You're right. They changing the character, and that's another good point. Changing the character feels definitely more like a course correction rather than a marketing ploy, because they gave up an end of the year slot. They gave up a slot right before Thanksgiving and during the Christmas season, where people do like to go out and see movies, and especially on Thanksgiving. And they opted for a beginning of the year slot, which is not usually, yes, it's Valentine's Day, but that's Sonic the Hedgehog isn't going to be the Valentine's Day movie. So it does reek of a desperate change that they gave up the end of the year slot. So that's another good piece of evidence that this was not a marketing ploy, because that's a big give up for a marketing ploy. All right, they reported on what person who redesigned Sonic. Okay. Yeah, I just, and I don't, when you guys mentioned Tyson Hesse and everything, I'm not denying it. I'm not saying that you're lying or anything like that. I'm at a point where I can't just listen and say, oh, well, they said that there's got to be evidence. There's got to be evidence for all of this stuff. But yeah, I see. Hold on. Let me actually, I will look at this Twitter link right here. Oh, I saw this post. Yeah, I saw this post. Yeah, you got to have evidence, man. You got to have evidence. You can't just listen to what everybody says. No movie studio is giving up a holiday slot willingly. No, absolutely not. It's funny because I think that is bigger evidence of it not being a conspiracy theory, of it not being a marketing ploy, than Tyson Hesse admitting that he was brought on later. I think the idea that they're not going to give up a holiday slot is probably the biggest evidence of that. Didn't Deadpool come out? Yeah, but Deadpool is a Valentine's Day movie. He wears red. I wonder which film would have done better. The adults would have gone and saw Deadpool. Some adults would have gone and seen Sonic. All the kids would have gone and seen Sonic. I think Sonic would have done better. This Sonic, right? No, right here. This Sonic would have done better. Oof. Yeah, don't be swayed without evidence. Aqua, don't let anybody sucker you with words without anything to back them up. That's a life to live by. Got another laugh. Yeah. Now I want to address something else that people are talking about, because I hear this a lot too. The movie still looks bad. The movie it still looks like trash. It's still gonna be garbage. Now we talked about that before when we talked about this Sonic here, where we talked about how, well, they're gonna change the design, but the movie's still gonna be bad. If the movie looks bad, the movie looks bad. I think this trailer looks good. I think the trailer makes it look like a good movie. Not an Oscar-winning movie. Not every movie. Yeah, they changed the design. It doesn't necessarily mean they changed the script. Not every movie needs to be 10 out of 10, win all of the awards, change the way movies are seen. They don't all have to be that. They just have to be good fun, that you sit down, you eat your popcorn or your pretzel bites if you're me, and you enjoy the movie for 90 minutes, for 90 minutes to 2 hours out of your life. You stop worrying about everything. You watch the silliness unfold on screen, and there you go. That's a good movie. This Sonic from this trailer looks like a good movie. It doesn't look like it's going to win all of the awards, but they don't have to. If the movie's a solid 7 out of 10, that's a good movie. So I don't understand when people are like, oh, well, it's still going to be trash. Let's ignore the first trailer. Let's ignore this guy. Let's pretend that this trailer that we just got is the only trailer we've had. It looks like a good movie. It looks like, at the very least, a decent, competent movie. Where everybody's getting this, it's still going to be garbage, is this guy. This one here. This his fault. Yeah, the trailer makes it look like a fun time. They may have changed some scenes. Yeah, it's interesting because this guy here did the whole meow. This one didn't do that. He did something different. He had a different reaction in that scene, because it was the same scene where James Marsden walks in. He's got the tranquilizer gun, and he points it at him, and they scream. He doesn't do the whole meow thing. Still if you're about the story, but the new trailer, Neon, the story to me looks serviceable. It looks like, all right, we have to put a story in there to get him there. The one thing that I want more than anything out of this, and I have yet to hear anybody actually say this. The one thing I want more than anything, at the end of the movie, I want him to go back to his world, and I want a second movie that takes place in that world. At the beginning of the movie, we saw Green Hill Zone, and it had the big loop, and it was Green Hill Zone. Give me a CG movie that takes place in that world. Give me this Sonic, which is a fun-looking, good-looking Sonic. Give me a movie about that world. I don't mind that you started with this whole coming to our world because he wanted to have fun. But I would love to go back and see this guy's movie. Mediocrity is dead. By that I mean, yeah, Hawk Goggles. You're not allowed to have mediocrity anymore. You're either all good or all bad, and that's always the way it seems to be. Yeah, it looks like it'll be a competent enough kids movie. And you know what, Ryan? Some of my favorite movies were aimed at kids. You know, when you talk about some fantastic movies out there, they're aimed at kids. The smart ones throw a few jokes in there for adults. I think a great example, a very relevant example, is Sonic Boom, the Sonic Boom cartoon animation. Clearly, it's a kids show, but it's filled with jokes that are much more adult oriented, and I don't mean pornographic or anything. I just mean the Knuckles scene where he complains about feminism and how, you know, all of the stuff he says about feminism, that, or they're not complains about feminism, but he says, you know, when Amy, every time you indicate, you know, you single it out and all of that stuff. It's an 8-year-old, 10-year-old not gonna get that joke. That joke is there for grown-ups. That joke is there for older people who understand the referencing made by the joke. All right, we're going to scroll back up here. I was expecting it to still be bad, but after seeing the new trailer, the design changed, the tone of the scene. I want to see this movie. I would never have gone to see Teeth Sonic. I want to see this Sonic. I mean, that guy looks like he came from a live-action Cats movie. For the second trailer, it looks like the live-action Sonic movie is going to be a fun ride. Yeah, Sonic's personality might annoy some people because he's a lot more hyperactive than usual, which is, you know, it's kind of like SpongeBob. It's kind of like, you know, the older you are, the more you dislike SpongeBob and the more you understand what Squidward is going through. You know, the older you get and the less hyperactive you get, the more you're going to look at a character like Sonic, that 90s in-your-face character, and say, ugh. Is it me, or does it seem that most good children's movies, most good movies are like for kids than it does? I think it's because movies that are kid friendly, not aimed at children, but just acceptable for kids to watch, are usually watched by everybody. You know, grown-up movies, hyper violent action movies, they're only watched by adults. Yes, there are kids that watch them, but there's a question whether or not they should be watching them. For the love of God, if anybody's seen the first RoboCop movie and the second Rambo movie, I watched those as a kid, and my God, how I didn't turn out to be a mass murderer is beyond me. Probably because I had parents who made it clear that they were movies. What this new trailer did to me is highlight how out of place Jim Carrey feels doing comedy again. Don't get me wrong, I love Jim Carrey, but it feels like there's a reason he stepped up. I don't think Jim Carrey feels out of line doing comedy anymore. I think he doesn't feel like Eggman, but I still like the character that he does. He doesn't feel like Eggman, he feels like Jim Carrey. But I like Jim Carrey, so I don't care. There's Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is an example that I always bring up. Nicolas Cage is Nicolas Cage in pretty much every movie he's ever been in. But I like Nicolas Cage. I like that character, so I'm fine with it. You know, Amy, at anytime you point out a female accomplishing a task, you undermine the idea that doing it in the first place is normal. Yeah, like, no, that doing it is an exception rather than the rule, I think is what he says. A second movie in insane. Yeah, Imagine a second Sonic the Hedgehog movie where he goes back to his world, so it's all CG, and you've got a CG Eggman, but Jim Carrey doing that voice. I don't know. I think I'd watch it. DuckTales has jokes like that. The new DuckTales cartoon. It's clearly, cartoons like that are very kid-friendly. But there are clearly jokes in there that are meant for either adults or old DuckTales fans. What was the joke with the three boys, Huey, Dewey, and Louie? They got their brains switched, so they were in different bodies, but all they did was change hats. Like, that's, kids are kind of gonna get that joke, but grown-ups are gonna be the one that are like, yeah, there was always a joke that they look exactly the same, and now they just sort of played on the joke. Oh my god, I watched Terminator. Yeah, Terminator when I was a little kid. I went to the theaters to see Terminator 2. Mommy, let me watch Goodfellas. I'm pretty sure I watched Goodfellas when I was younger. If we had watched Godfather, I know I would have watched it. That is what I meant to phrase as a question. Yeah, no problem, Aqua. No problem. That's fine. Hey, look, it's the third most controversial thing this year. Yeah, we're probably going to get to the other two in a second. I could suspend my disbelief. Yeah, that's why. I'm fine. Jim Carrey chews through the Robotnik and becomes Jim Carrey, but I like it. I don't really care. But I gotta get my commands open here. But we're gonna change topics.